Alright guys, TouchGribbit here, back again today. Lots of news stories to cover. Firstly, I'd like to mention that tomorrow night I'm going to be busy in the evening, so I have a video pre-recorded, so hopefully if anything happens, well hopefully nothing important will happen tonight or tomorrow daytime. If it does, I will then cover that on Friday. Apologies for that, but it's just how it is. It just is how it is. So yeah, like if you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe if you're new as always. Let's hop right into it. A lot of stuff to cover today. Firstly, to follow up from yesterday, we talked about the Midnight CEO, this guy called K2, he's known as, saying the shocking true story of Midnight Gaming, Midnight Esports, and the part played by Adam Apicella and MLG will soon be made public. Adam Apicella actually did this response on Reddit saying, not sure what he's going to expose other than his own actions. We've always tried to protect the players in the situation. Our number one priority always, as dropping the entire roster of the number one team in the league at the time, let's not forget, was unprecedented and not in line with the spirit of how the league should operate. My muzzle is off now, largely because he's left Activision Blizzard MLG to move on to you know, other opportunities. Happy to defend myself. Honestly, this tweet is pretty indicative of the entire situation, over the top and unnecessary. So interesting response, and K2 has since deleted this tweet, so I wonder if he will actually end up following up on what he said he would do. Load of free agency and restricted free agency announcements. Ruiz, I think he was on Elevate at the end of the season announcing a restricted free agent. Risk saying exactly the same thing. I'm pretty sure he's unrestricted because he was on that denial team earlier on in the season. So yeah, he's unrestricted for this season. Zeke exactly the same thing. Guys that had some pretty decent results, honestly, in the Black Ops 4 season. Would be nice to see them get a spot maybe on the Paris team, but then again, who knows what's going to happen with the Paris team. If I own the Paris spot, I would probably get like a really good French player, like maybe get a Whalers, get a Risk, get a Zeke, one of these guys, but probably I wouldn't build an entire French squad because it's unlikely they're going to do much against the powerhouse teams. I'd probably you know, get maybe a one or two French guys that can represent the scene nicely, and then build out the rest of the team, kind of like an Elevate situation, to be honest, or get a guy like Breezy or something like that. You know, Saints the following, so he does this tweet on August 20th: with 2020 CDL franchise coming up, I'm now a restricted free agent. He then, you know, updates this situation, unrestricted free agent now for NATO. Envoy. This is what happened just before yesterday's video went live. We got some announcements from really big name players as to what their plans are for next season. Envoy, restricted free agent for next season. Of course, all of these announcements from these, you know, big orgs like Gen G kind of gets you thinking, well, do they actually, you know, what are their chances of getting a franchise spot this season? We know that 9 spots have been confirmed. They're looking to get 12, you know, and I'm sure a lot of these organizations are hoping maybe to buy in. We'll have to see how it goes, because if Gen G are indeed out of the running, then maybe that would explain these tweets, but at the same time, I'm sure the players are, you know, looking for future plans regardless, because as Clayster said yesterday, they're kind of in the dark exactly what's going on behind the scenes, how likely it is their organization to get a spot, so it's probably better safe than sorry to put out a tweet like this, even if your organization ends up going forward getting a spot. And as we said yesterday with what happened with the Minnesota, what they said in their public announcement, that if Gen G do end up getting a spot, any offer for Envoy they can match within a week, you know, if that's how the case may be. So I guess it makes sense for them and for Envoy to put out these announcements, even if Gen G are on the verge of getting a spot. But the fact that this exists kind of makes me think, you know, maybe it's unlikely. Same thing from Joey Nubsy, the coach, free agent coach going into next season. So that's interesting. Capitalizes the M in Gmail. Interesting decision there. Dens, same thing off Reciprocity. We know that these guys will not be investing into next season's Call of Duty. Strong placements to end the year. DiCaprio-like performances in content. Part-time model and Australian. Has a P1 visa. Very handy indeed. And these are all cool things to talk about, because content's going to be pretty big next year. A lot of these teams are very new, trying to build fan bases that don't necessarily come just from the players you have on the team. So, you know, being good in content pieces, as Dens was this year in Reciprocity's fantastic content, you know, that's obviously a helpful attribute. Moving onwards then, Kenny announces the following: for any CDL team interested in me for the 2020 season, contact me through DM or email me. Lovely little graphic here that, I forget who exactly made this. One of the 100 Thieves designers, maybe Alpaca, put this together. CoD champs twice, second, 5 championship victories, Rookie of the Year 2018 MVP. So really cool stuff. thought I'd mention briefly at this point, because we're in a few minutes in, towards the end of the video, we will be talking about this Scump situation that's in the title, him confirming that he will not be retiring for the upcoming season, but also saying he probably has a maximum 2 to 3 years left on his career. Get to that in a second. Usually I talk about what happens in the title at the start of the video. Kind of forgot today. Moving onwards then, Kenny obviously announcing free agency. Here we go. Kalista says this just about an hour and a bit ago. Want to test the waters and see what bites. CDL teams, kalistabusiness@gmail.com. And no, internet detectives, this does not mean what you think it means. I'm still under contract with EU and we're still unsure of our future. So exactly what will happen there, yet to be seen. Of course, similar situation really to what I just talked about with the Envoy one. Obviously, he hasn't gone in as an agent or with any sort of player management. He's got his own email. Kenny's gone for the same thing going on. We'll come on to what happened with the Twins on United in just a few minutes here. So yeah, interesting situation here. Kalista says the following, of course, exploring opportunities. If United do get a spot, most likely he will stay there, or at least some sort of partnership, as we've talked about the rumours with Lee Zeiben and all that stuff going on. 100 Thieves, here we go. This is related to the Scumpy situation. This podcast on the Courage and Nature show is coming out in, I think, Thursday is tomorrow, so it'll come out tomorrow, but a 5-minute clip went up on their YouTube channel, and I will play that for you guys now, the first minute of it, of course, not the entire 5 minutes. The first minute really is the most interesting.
The way my mind works, it's really weird, and, I haven't really talked about this as much, but when I, do something, I want to be completely committed to that. So say I'm still a competitive Call of Duty player, which I am, and I'm not retiring, so people think I am.
So you're not retiring?
No, I'm definitely not retiring.
Scump has officially announced for the first time ever on the Courage and Nate Shots Joe, presented by Cash App, that Scump, the king himself, is officially not retiring. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I have a couple more years playing. I'd say probably 2-3 max. But yeah, I don't know. It's just if I was gonna go ahead and pursue Fortnite, I wouldn't want to do it in a 2-month span when I know that after that 2 months is up, I have to be right back immersed into playing Call of Duty full time again. So there's no point to try to, I want to focus all my efforts onto that.
So Scump confirms he will not be retiring for the upcoming season. You're pretty sure most people knew that this wasn't going to happen anyway. There's really no reason for him to retire. Had pretty good performances on the whole this season. And of course, there's so much money going around now with franchising. This is the perfect opportunity to keep playing, right? If there was anyone who could retire and get away with it, it would be Scump. Even guys like Karma Crimsix might not be able to get away with retiring fully. Obviously, they could go into content, but that's a risky business, right? And, if you feel like you're still performing to a good level and getting up there to try and at least win championships or winning championships, as OpTic did at Vegas this year, why not continue competing? But the most interesting thing was, I guess, that he said he's probably got 2 or 3 more years in him max. He didn't have to say the max part, which means that probably within 2 or 3 years, especially if he has a pretty lackluster 2 or 3 years, not saying he will, but if he does, then in the next 2 years we could see Scump retiring. And that would be, of course, an incredible day for Call of Duty. We've seen a lot of retirements over the years. Scump retiring would really throw a can amongst the pigeons, I guess. And, we'll have to see how he ends up with franchises into this coming year. But I thought I'd run that past you. Thought I'd run this past you as well. Phase Sensor with the following video. He did a 41-minute video on his YouTube channel talking about a lot of stuff. And I will link this down below if you guys want to watch it. This is a 1-minute clip from it. I thought it was kind of funny.
I just want it so bad. I want it more than anything. I want it more than any amount of money. I want it more than any amount of fame, any amount of success, any nice cars, boats, yachts, healthy, happy family, whatever. I am willing to do anything if I believe in it. And I believe that I'm an awesome Call of Duty player. I believe any single time that it came down to it, I always came through, and I'll still come through today because the passion I had back then, if you think for a second, after all of these years, every single night, going to sleep, having this subliminal thought in my head of being upset and being frustrated and being worked up, and then going on Twitter and seeing internet trolls saying that you're a trash player, and then having people who make decisions for your career as a Call of Duty player actually believing those internet trolls, you understand how frustrated that makes me? If you think after all of that, every single night of me having to deal with that shit for years, 5 freaking years, if you don't think that I have the same passion, if not more, today to win, then I don't know what business you're in, dude.
So I'm not really sure this is the way to go about proving that you're franchise capable and ready to be picked up onto a franchise. I kind of see what he's going for. I didn't really want to comment on it too much. I'm sure you guys will leave your thoughts down below because some of you guys, I'm sure, are Centre fans. Some of you think he's completely delusional. It's difficult for me to decide where he falls, to be honest, on the spectrum. But this video is, you know, he's kind of gone off the ragged edge. Moving onwards, though, in this video, earlier on in it, I believe, let's have a look at this tweet exactly. This is what I'm talking about. So this tweet goes at Aches. Doug's legit giving you the business in this video. Thoughts on stealing the man's captainship and ending his career in one foul swoop. I don't really know to what degree since it implies this in the video, but you guys can feel free to watch it down below. I haven't had the time or the patience, unfortunately, to sit through 40 minutes of that. Ake says, "What lol? I didn't care for it or ask for it. FaZe said they wanted me to be the captain the night we won. I said, sure, let's try it. If he felt so betrayed by them, he should have left. He didn't. He cashed out with their brand value and made millions on YouTube. Some people are so deluded. The video was clearly about how FaZe poorly handled their relationship with Doug through lies, deception, and straight up leading him on, and how he felt it ruined his career. Don't tie me in with any of that. Tired of fans coming to mind-blowing conclusions." So that's what Ake says in reply to this one. Intel Call of Duty then. Interesting image here. A couple of FaZe players recently started following some Atlanta CoD, Atlanta Reign related people. Atlanta Reign is the team that the Atlanta Esports Ventures own in the Overwatch League. We talked about a couple of days ago here how maybe Atlanta might be getting Priest or something, and Priest is now on FaZe. And if Zuma, following a couple of these Atlanta Reign guys, Jeremy Paul, Director of Partnerships, Atlanta Reign, Head of Content, Atlanta Reign, Atlanta CoD, over here on the right, you know, maybe this is just bait, but, you know, who knows if this is true. Maybe there's something to it. Moving onwards, Tupac Thug Lord. You guys may know this guy if you followed Modern Warfare Remastered at all. He is an absolute beast at that game. He played with Abeezy a lot, actually. That was his duo in Modern Warfare Remastered before Abeezy turned 18. I would absolutely love to be in the CDL as a team's S&D replacement. If every team can hold 7 players, then why not have the most successful S&D player of all time coming in and winning all the game 2 and 5s? Also, with the next COD boots on the ground, there is nobody better. I wouldn't doubt it at all. If you guys watch this guy's streams, he is a maniac in Search and Destroy. Incredibly smart player, incredibly talented. Would be really cool to see him come in as like an S&D stud kind of guy. COD Minnesota tweets the following: "Continuing our hard work at building a championship roster for the North. Nothing official to report just yet. In the meantime, here are the latest renders of our future facility." So just go through a couple of images here of what their facility is going to look like. We've got some sofas. You can watch someone use an AK with a reflex, if that's even going to be meta. I highly doubt it. Someone getting pretty hyped about him not even getting a kill. Yeah, nice little room here. Some lads staring at a nice image. Not really sure what's going on there. Pretty cool stuff though. This is a gaming room, I guess. PCs though, rather than PS4s, so maybe that's indicative. Who knows? Moving onwards then. RCT tweets the following: "If any CDL teams are interested in acquiring me, contact Bad Moon Talent." Same thing says his brother right here in Pristini. They have officially joined Bad Moon Talent. This is the image I used in yesterday's thumbnail, just because it was announced just before I made the thumbnail for yesterday's videos. Welcoming the twins to Bad Moon Talent. Really interesting stuff that these guys are going to be represented by Bad Moon Talent for Cento, Andrew Drake. We've talked about it a couple of days in a row now. Very intriguing. Also, I thought this was quite intriguing. RCT's announcing a few days ago he's partnering with Battle Beaver. Of course, Scuff has been the sponsor of the Call of Duty League for a long time, which maybe means that isn't happening this season, because I don't really think that in the past, even though a lot of players used Battle Beaver, they could say that they were sponsored by them because of the situation with the league being sponsored by Scuff. Scuff, you know, player of the game, Scuff, team of the week, whatever. So I thought that was interesting. Hastro says the following: "Lots of zeros coming in on these COD player contracts with a number before them, of course." And APOG, you guys may know of this name. He's pretty legendary in the esports scene. What is he at? Okay, he has a specialist in his thing, but apparently he was working with the rich guy a bit he's worked with. He's really good friends with John. He's been around the scene a long time. He tweets this out: "Imagine being the guy who thinks he's worth $480,000 a year and asks for it. I love the game. I love the hustle, man." So indicative of, or at least related to, what Hastro was implying right there. So yeah, I thought I'd leave it there with this video, guys. Went through a lot of content today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like if you did, subscribe if you are new as always. Tomorrow I got a pre-recorded video for you guys talking about the top 10 players throughout the Black Ops 4 season, and then after that back to reality. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.